J. Murray Hawkins has 24 years of experience helping type 2 diabetics reverse their disease naturally. He is the founder and CEO of the company Help Your Diabetes, which is the fastest growing natural diabetes program in the world. He is the author of the book Imagine Living Without Type 2 Diabetes and has been featured in USA Today, CNBC.com, BusinessWeek.com, Reuters.com, Yahoo.com, The Street, Boston Globe, Dallas Business Journal, Houston Business Journal, the Los Angeles Business Journal, and many more. He's given thousands of diabetes presentations all throughout the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. And he now teaches medical physicians how to implement his Help Your Diabetes program in their local offices. His story is one that all diabetics will want to hear.
I live by the quote by Andrew Carnegie that says, "As I grow older, I pay less attention to what people say, I just watch what they do." Now, a lot of people in life, they say they want to have a great marriage, they want to raise great kids, they want to have a great business, and they want to have great health. Yet I don't see them taking action on those things on a really concrete level. So I was blessed at a really early age to be given this gift of just having this tenacity of setting a goal, but then acting on it. And I just feel I've been blessed with that, and so that's really what I take into my life right now. And I raise my daughter that way, and I try and teach my patients the exact same philosophy so that when they know they can get better, we want them to act on that so they can actually achieve the goals they want, which is to get healthy again.
The Help Your Diabetes program would be the best program for you to be in. My vision left. I could not see anything. Everything was all blurry, and I was really high diabetic. Being on this program, my eyesight came back, and in 3 weeks' time, I was off all my medication.
The day they told me I wasn't diabetic anymore, I was so happy. It's just a wonderful program. I would encourage anybody, anywhere to get on this program. It will change your life.
I grew up in the Niagara Falls, Canada area, and I got my undergrad there. Lived there for the first 21 years of my life. Then I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia, and went to Life Chiropractic College to get my doctorate degree. And I graduated in 1990, moved right out to Palm Springs, California, and I practiced as an associate doctor for the first 18 months. And then I opened my first office in October of 1992, and the rest is history, as they say. I mean, I opened up 4 more offices after that, and it was a really fun place to live. My wife and I, we got introduced by mutual friends, but then before we had our first date, we actually spoke on the phone 4 nights in a row for 3 hours each night. And I literally fell in love with her on the phone. We met, we had our first date March 27th, 1992, had our first kiss, and looked at her and said, "This is it, isn't it?" And she said, "Yeah, I think it is." 2 days later, we're pulling out our day timers, planning when we're gonna get married. We were officially engaged 2 weeks later, and then married 3 months later, and it's been 22 years.
From the moment I met Murray, I was so impressed with him. He just loved what he did, and very few people just love what they do and excel at it. I love his mission, and I love what he does for people that have diabetes. I love working with him, and I love just seeing the change in people and how their lives get better. They have hope in their lives. They're able to play with their grandchildren again. It's just a beautiful working relationship that we have, and I honestly believe that millions of diabetics worldwide will just really owe their lives to his program when they follow it.
My dad's passion about helping people with diabetes and then actually seeing how he is able to help people now. He's just really inspirational for me. I want to be like him in that way, to have something that I'm so passionate about that I will, stop at nothing and do whatever I have to do to help people or to make my dreams possible as well. I have actually been able to go on the road with him when he does seminars, and then to be able to actually also be behind the scenes and see people's lab work, how they've been able to reverse their diabetes. It's just amazing. It really is so cool to be able to have a dad who helps people live their lives longer and more fulfilling.
I feel it's really good to have my family be a part of this. Tracy's been working with me our whole career together. She does special projects for me. And Tiffany, she comes on the road with me doing some events once in a while. And my mother, she actually works for me as well. So the whole family's involved in this business, and it's just great for all of us to experience this together. Yeah, and as I've gotten older, my mission has become crystal clear, that I want to help millions of type 2 diabetics around the world reverse their disease. When I was 18 years old, my favorite aunt in the whole world, my Auntie Lily, she actually passed away from complications from her diabetes. And this is one of those turning points in my life. I mean, she left behind my 2 cousins to be raised without their mom. My uncle was devastated, her whole family was. And literally her 2 small adopted kids, my cousins, had to see their mom the last year of her life wither away before their eyes. I mean, it was one of those things I saw that said, wow, you know, I gotta do something about this, because I saw how this can affect families, and it was just heartbreaking. And even to this day, it's hard for me to talk about it, you know, seeing that something like that could have been reversed. But I was only 18, I didn't have a program like I have now to help her.
It was hard on my family when my sister Lily passed away. Seeing my niece and nephew being raised without their loving mother was very devastating. And even today, more than 30 years later, it's still very difficult to talk about.
When I was seeing these patients in my chiropractic office that were diabetic, it kind of set me back to when I was 18, to when my aunt passed away from complications. So that's really what started me on this path of doing a lot of research and developing my own program to help reverse this disease, because once I did the research and found out that by eating the right foods, taking the right nutritional supplements, and exercise can actually reverse type 2 diabetes, that's what really got me fired up about, hey, let's develop something and make an impact on this disease. That moment was really when I found out that I could develop my own program and help type 2 diabetics so that I could reverse the problem that my aunt had when I was younger, and so that nobody else had to deal with the same kind of problem she had to deal with.
It's incredibly rewarding to see my son take on the mission of helping millions of diabetics so he could help them avoid the tragedy that our family had to go through. I'm extremely proud of my son for all he has done and all he will do in the future.
The major 3 things that gets people better is eating the right foods, taking the proper supplements, and the proper exercise. So those aren't really new concepts. I mean, they've been around. So really my program has kind of systematized this and made it really user-friendly, so it's very easy for a patient to implement. Because a lot of them are told what to eat, but they're told the wrong things to eat. A lot of patients take supplements, but they don't take the right ones for them. A lot of people exercise, but it's the wrong kind of exercise. So we're really showing them now the specific things with those 3 combinations that really helps them get better, which is off the meds and having normal labs.
At Help Your Diabetes, we show patients how to reverse their type 2 diabetes. The whole goal is to have your body functioning at its optimum level without medications. A healthy body doesn't need prescription drugs to function properly. So this is part of our education process and showing the patients that they can reverse this diabetes naturally.
Being a part of this team and helping people every single day and hearing about them getting off their meds and how excited they are and how grateful they are is really fulfilling.
When a patient signs up with our program, they get a list of 14 specific benefits that actually helps them reverse their diabetes. They get a comprehensive full-spectrum lab analysis. They get customized supplements to take. They get exercise recommendations. They get weekly one-on-one in-office or phone support to monitor their progress. They get unlimited support for any questions they have. They get a list of foods that they can enjoy and avoid. They get weekly meal plans, over 200 recipes, shopping list. They get exclusive online membership in the Help Your Diabetes website. Get online forum sections to get questions answered, share success stories, find new recipes, etc. They get weekly training videos, a monthly newsletter, and a monthly group training call with me. The Help Your Diabetes program is a customized, specific program for each individual, and its whole purpose is to help reverse their diabetes naturally. There's no other program like this out there in the world right now. And one of the initial struggles I had with this program was dealing with medical physicians who just were not trained that type 2 diabetes can be reversed, because they just thought it was too good to be true. And so instead of letting their patient try it to see the results, they would just be negative and try and talk them out of it. So even though I was kind of frustrated initially, I then came to realize that they were just doing what they were taught to do, which was analyze labs and prescribe drugs. They weren't trained the way that I was trained. So once I realized that, it let me say, hey, you know what? Let me show you, what you don't know. Let's work together to get these patients off their meds, because that's ultimately what the patient wants. It's not about what I want or what their physician wants. It's that the patient wants to get off their meds and reverse the disease. So let's work together and achieve that.
I was going to a doctor at UNC at the dentistry for candida and lichen planus. And while I was going, she suggested that I tell my doctor to put me on meds for diabetes to help with the sugar in my body. So I went to my doctor and I told her what she said, and she put me on metformin. And I took metformin for the amount of 10 years. And during that time, I did get diabetes and kept it for the length of 10 years. And I never liked the fact of being a type 2 diabetic. I didn't want to lose my eyesight. I didn't want to lose no legs, no arms. I did not want to be huge and so out of shape, and I was really headed that way. And I really didn't ever want to get on shots. I was introduced to Dr. Hopkins and Help Yourself Diabetes through the newspaper. And I went to the program, and I was so tickled that I had found somebody that could really talk to me about what to do and how to go about ridding myself of diabetes. I started doing everything they told me in November, and by May 5th, 6 months later, I was diagnosed no diabetes. The day they told me I didn't have diabetes anymore, I could not even touch the ground. I was so happy. Happiest day of my life. Just walking out and saying, no more metformin, not for me. My own physician that I go to regularly, he just loves the fact that I did this for myself. He just is amazed.
Now it's really cool because we're finding a lot of open-minded physicians that they see the research and they see that diabetes can be reversed, and now they're actively seeking out ways to be able to share with their patients how to do it. And so it's really nice that we're able to provide that for those physicians that are looking for ways to help their patients get off their meds.
It's been really an awesome experience seeing patients reverse this disease without medications. Training the MDs on how to do this, for the first time, they don't have to manage or control them anymore with the prescription drugs. They're learning how to do this and reverse this disease naturally. And the results have been absolutely incredible.
I first heard about the Help Your Diabetes program about 4 months ago, and I checked it out, and I was immediately impressed by what I saw. The success I've had with the program has been overwhelming. I've had multiple patients come through now, and each tend to have a different success rate, but overall it's been phenomenal. Patients in the program see results right away. I was surprised at how quickly their blood sugars improve. Usually within just the first couple of weeks, their health's improving, their blood sugars are dropping in the morning and throughout the day. And I feel pretty comfortable just after the first several weeks with getting them off at least half of their medication by then.
One of the most difficult things I've dealt with for over 20 years now is patients that realize they can get better, but they aren't willing to take the steps necessary to get better.
It's sad because I know that we can help them, and they're just not willing to make those changes. The program is very easy. The only way anybody would find it maybe difficult is just because they've been habitually eating a certain way for so long. Maybe their doctors or their nutritionist says it's okay to have whole grains but not white grains, when in fact diabetics shouldn't be having any grains. Once they get started, they find they feel a lot better, and once they see those results, it's really easy for them to keep going.
I didn't feel good about it because I didn't like what I had to give up, but I was determined to try. I found most of his recipes were pretty darn good, so I didn't mind eating what he said. My results were almost immediate as far as starting to lose weight, and my sugar started to drop down a little bit when I took it in the morning after about a week. So I thought I was having good results, and that gave me the kick that I needed to stay with it. I feel so much better. I'm active. I can do things that I didn't think I could do. Help Your Diabetes has helped me so much. My skin is better. I feel better. I'm off from a lot of meds. And I don't have any of the side effects that I was having from it. So I would definitely recommend it.
A lifestyle change is critical to the long-term success of the patient. So what we're providing is a weekly mentorship for the patient and showing them a way to lead a healthier life. Then we provide expertise in how to supplement their health for a better path to wellness. Overall, what happens from week to week is that their sugars improve, their diabetes does in fact reverse, but it is critical that they have a long-term lifestyle change in order to see the benefits long-term.
So when your doctor tries to tell you got to take your little pills every day for the rest of your life, if you're a type 2 diabetic, that statement is 100% not true. You can get off your type 2 diabetic meds when you do the right thing. Now, here's the other side of this coin. Here's where I defend your doctor now. If you don't do a program like ours to reverse your disease, then that statement is true. You're going to have to live on your meds every day the rest of your life, just like you are now. If you didn't meet me and you kept on doing everything you're doing right now, that would be true. You'd have to stay on your meds every day forever. But you have a choice. And that's what tonight's all about, is giving you a choice. Whether you choose it or not is up to you, but we're going to give you that option so at least you know that you can reverse it when you choose to. Okay? Here's some stats you might not know. Right now, look at this. Diabetes affects 336 million people worldwide and kills 4.6 million people every single year. That's a 30% increase since 2010. 30%. So is diabetes going up? Yeah, and it's not going up like this. It's going up like this on a graph. This disease is epidemic in Canada. It's pandemic around the world, and it's getting worse every single year with no end in sight. No end in sight, everybody. How about this? Someone dies from diabetes complications around the world every 7 seconds. Another person dies. How much worse can that get? Someone dies every second? 2 people die every second? I mean, that's where it's headed. It's already out of control. How about this? The life expectancy is 5 to 10 years shorter when you have diabetes. 5 to 10 years. 68% of diabetes deaths are from heart disease. That's the #1 complicating killer. 16% of deaths are from stroke. And 67% of diabetics also have high blood pressure. I'll bet you at least 2/3 of you in this room, you're also taking a high blood pressure pill, aren't you? A lot of you are taking a high cholesterol pill too, aren't you? See, those are like the 3 little peas in a pod. You got your diabetic meds, blood pressure meds, cholesterol meds. Now here's what's really funny. You ready for this one? This is where I'm going to get some of you to laugh. A lot of you are taking a blood pressure pill and a cholesterol pill even though you didn't have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. Right? Your doctor put you on it as a preventative, didn't they? Interesting. Right now, I show patients a step-by-step system that they can follow, A, B, C, D, E, and as long as they follow it, they can reverse this disease. So I teach patients that this disease is just like cancer. Diabetes can kill you, just like cancer can. And cancer, just like diabetes, you can have cancer and have no idea that you have it. You can be completely symptom-free and have a tumor right now, but it doesn't mean that you're healthy. So you can have diabetes and not have any symptoms yet, and so you think you're healthy, but it's still eating you away inside. So I really teach my patients that don't wait for this thing to get worse before you treat it naturally. Just like don't wait for a tumor to get worse before you handle that. So that's what we're really doing. We teach them a systematic approach to reverse this disease. And type 2 diabetics don't want to be on these medications they're on. The only reason they're on them is because they don't think there's a safe way to get off of them. And we show them what that safe way is.
Our system is a turnkey system, and we show the physicians with a plan that they can implement this in their office very easily with a step-by-step program with very little work on the physician's part.
There's a training manual that came with the program. The main things you have to learn are how to supplement the patient's program. The other aspect is your staff. So for that, they actually provided on-site support. Before we went live with any patients, one of the Help Your Diabetes support staff came on site and went through the entire process from enrolling a patient to the financial aspects, the follow-up required, and everything we could possibly need to get the program off the ground smoothly.
About 3.5 years ago, my vision left. I could not see anything. Everything was all blurry, and I was very thirsty. I drank all the time. So I just made an appointment to my doctor, and I walked in the office and I said, I think I'm diabetic. And took test, and I was really high diabetic. I was 14.7, was my A1C. So he put me on metformin. I was on metformin twice a day. My father was diabetic, so I know what he had to go through. He had a lot of artery bypasses, and he had no feeling in his feet and his legs, and he had problems with his fingers. He couldn't hold anything, and he lost his eyesight completely, and I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep my life going the way it is. I lead a very active life, and I wanted to keep doing that. I didn't want to be bed rest or sitting in the couch and trying to figure out who was talking to me and all that. So I read in the paper about a seminar about Help Your Diabetes, and I thought, I think I should go. It was a free dinner, so why not? So I went, and they said I could be off my medication, and I thought, well, that would be great. So that's what I did. I went, and the next day I started curbing my diet and watching what I was eating, and my eyesight came back. After spending money on expensive glasses so I could see, I only wore them for 2 weeks. And I was back to my normal eyesight, and I lost about 45 pounds being on this program. And in 3 weeks' time, I was off all my medication. I know people that say, well, they can eat cake and they can do all this, but they take extra insulin because they do all that. Why do that? Why risk your body to do that? Get all cleaned up and get off all those meds. You don't have to be on all those meds. The Help Your Diabetes program would be the best program for you to be in.
I understand for some people that are ready to take that next step, it might be a little scary because it is something new. But just understand that our whole staff is here to hold your hand and walk you through everything, support you while you're taking that step, while you're making these changes. We'll lay everything out for you outside of spoon feeding you what you need to eat. Like we'll be there 100% all the way.
The biggest takeaway for me was the fact that it lowered my blood pressure medicine, and that it took me off of the diabetes medicine, that I feel so good. So if you're going to do it, follow it right to the rule. It will work for you.
It was really, to me, one of the easiest things I have ever done. I would tell anybody in diabetes, take care of yourself. Do it for your family. If you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your family. I gave up coffee, I gave up drinks, but after you just get to the place you don't even want it, you crave the water. Literally crave water. And I didn't even like water before I went on this diet. I was so happy that I had done the program, that I could do things I hadn't done in years, and had energy I hadn't had in years. Everything was different. Everything in my life was different. I felt different. I had a better outlook, because after a while, medicine will drag you down, and you just say, well, I have diabetes and I have to take this. No, you don't have to have diabetes, and you don't have to take this. Help Yourself Diabetes, they were always there for you. If you called them, they called you back. You could talk to them. It's a wonderful plan.
You should go to a seminar. You should listen to what they say, take heed, and get off your meds. I think it'll work for anybody that will just put their mind to not eating things that they asked you not to eat. I feel wonderful. I feel great. Sleep is better. My hot flashes are gone, and it seems to work for me.
People who are suffering from type 2 diabetes, the one message I would want them to really understand is it should be about quality of life. And when you're on these medications, you're not yourself. Your body doesn't feel right. The main complaint we get from people is, You know, they have foggy brain from their medications, their body is out of whack. And we can help them. By getting off these medications, they'll have a better quality of life. Dr. Hawkins is just one man. That's why we go to all these different cities across the world. We go and do seminars every week in a different city. We're seeing crowds of up to 200 people or more. We're really trying to get the word out as far as the correct information for type 2 diabetics. We're even getting into physician offices in the States, so we have more physicians that have the correct information. That way we can help reach more diabetics.
Having Corbin Bernsen as our celebrity spokesperson has been fantastic. Because of the exposure he gives us, it allows us to reach more medical physicians and more patients in a real powerful way. Our program's come a long way since we first started this, and the whole goal with our program now is to train over 1,000 medical physicians on this program so we can start reaching millions of diabetics instead of the thousands that we're currently reaching. Hi, I'm Dr. Hawkins, and thanks for watching this documentary. If you or somebody you know suffers from type 2 diabetes, we'd love to help. Just have them go to our website at helpyourdiabetes.com, and all the next steps will be there for you to take. We hope to see you soon.